and her speech will be 12 to 14 minutes with a question and answer afterwards. And so here we have Kristen Harrell. You finished your icebreaker. Now what? Kristen Harrell.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters. I just wanted to warn everybody first that I am recording this presentation at the request of some of our new members who could not be here. So if you don't want your face to accidentally show up in the recording, feel free to turn off your camera. Otherwise, you've been duly warned. You've finished your icebreaker, now what? That's a question I get a lot, not just from new members, but from more experienced members who maybe haven't spent a lot of time on pathways. Today, I'm going to go over several things with you regarding pathways. The first is just going to be the basics, how you navigate pathways, what you need to do, how you record that you finished a speech, and just how you get through your levels. The second is going to be a few more tips and tricks that you can use in pathways. And then the last is going to be about how does pathways become a part of your journey with Toastmasters and the club? What does it really mean? I'm going to share my screen right now and show you something I hope most of you are familiar with. As soon as I navigate to it, is the Toastmasters International page. Anytime that you're working in pathways, obviously this is the page that you need to go to, toastmasters.org, and you need to log in, which I will do now. Ugh. New security measures. Gotta love it. Okay, once you're logged in, this is actually a trick that some people don't know. If you look up at the top after you're logged in, it says welcome and your name in yellow. You can click on that, and pretty much everything about your Toastmaster journey lives here. So that is a quick way to get to your profile in Toastmasters. And you'll notice this is new. They have added all of the different links to pathways right here on this page. So you can use that. You can also go down a little bit further and you'll see where it tells you how many you're enrolled in. I'm enrolled in 4 paths right now. I actually completed 2 of them, and I'm working on 2 more. And it says go to your transcript. So you can go directly to your pathways work from there. But I'm actually going to navigate to it from up here because this is the normal way most people get there. If you happen to be in multiple clubs, you have to click on this and choose which club that you want to work in. I tend to work in Henderson Toasters because they're my home club, so I'm going to leave that there and click go. If you're only in one club, you'll only have that one club as an option. They've simplified Pathways navigation lately. So basically, once you hit here, you're in Basecamp. I have now logged into Basecamp. So if you hear people talk about Basecamp, that's all it means. It's basically the landing page for Pathways. Where you want to go to work on your projects is Pathways, Paths, and Learning. It used to be called Transcript. And you will see any path that you are signed up for. If you've completed a path, it will not show up here, but any path that you're in progress on will be here. All you need to do is open your curriculum. Now you'll see here that I have 2 things with check marks: the icebreaker and the evaluation and feedback. That shows me that I've already completed those projects. I haven't started researching and presenting yet. So I'm going to activate researching and presenting. Now I'm going to launch it. While we're waiting for that to launch, no matter which level you're in or which project you're in, the basic layout is exactly the same. So it doesn't really matter. I could have gone into Icebreaker. I could go in here. I'm going in here because it's not completed yet, but the layout is all the same. The most important thing that you need to know about this is the box down at the bottom that says select. This is every section of this project in Pathways. Now you'll notice over on the side there's arrows, and you can arrow through the projects and go page to page. That's fine. But if you don't want to do that, if you know exactly where you need to go, or you just want to sit here and go through one section and not go through the whole project, that drop-down box at the bottom is your best friend. It will get you to where you can pick whatever you want. I'm going to click on my assignment because this is where the project checklist lives. Now, a lot of people ask me, okay, I did an Icebreaker, but I really don't know what I'm supposed to do. What does it mean? Your project checklist is where you can go to find out exactly what you need to do. In this project, Researching and Presenting, it tells me that I need to select a topic I'm not familiar with and do a 5-minute speech. And it gives me a checklist of things that I need to do to make this happen. I need to select my topic. I need to research and organize the information. I need to schedule my speech. I need to write my speech, rehearse my speech, and give my speech. No matter what project you're working on, there will be a project checklist, and it will tell you exactly what you need to do. The other thing that you need to know is before you do your project, you need to assess your skills. How do you feel your skills are on these topics before you do it? This is a required element of completing a project. If you do not do this quiz, you will never be able to complete the project in Pathways. So I'm just gonna go through this real quick and show you guys. I'm gonna just give everything a 4 because there's always room for improvement. Preferably, you'll actually read the questions and answer them truthfully so that you can get a real idea of how you progress. And then I need to submit that. So I've now done the before. All of the projects will have different information about the competencies that you're going to learn. It's going to give you this one, because it's a research project, it actually gives you a research worksheet that shows you how you can research. It gives you a speech outline, and every project has these type of resources. They'll be different based on what the topic is, but they all have them. So make sure that you go through and see what those are all about. There's a bunch of other sources in here. I'm not going to go through all of them because I don't have time. But then if you go to completing your project, again, it'll give you a copy of your project worksheet. It tells you everything that you need to know about finishing this up. If you go to your evaluation, it gives you the evaluation sheet for your speech when you do it. Again, it gives you a copy of all the other resources. And this is, Print My Project is something that you need to know about. For anybody who is stuck in the old program where they had everything in print and they like to see the whole thing printed out, Print My Project PDFs the entire project. And you can go and print that out. Or if you're gonna go somewhere on vacation and you want to be able to work on your speech, but you're not gonna have your computer with you, you can print the PDF of it and take it with you. It's great reading on a flight. Something fun to do or something just to do for people who aren't used to the computer and want to see it in print. Your evaluation resource, this is what you will print or PDF and give to your evaluator. It tells you the purpose, it gives notes to the evaluator, and it gives all of the scoring for your speech. So you will take this to your evaluator, and then when you're finished, you've done your speech, you have to do the assess your skills after. I've had a lot of people who did everything, did their speech, and then they said, I don't understand, I did the project, and it still says that I'm not done. It hasn't given me 100% yet. Well, that's because there's another step that you didn't complete. And one of those steps is this. You have to do this after. I'm going to say I learned stuff now, so now I'm a 5. But again, please read the questions and be honest about how much you think you learned, because the reason that's important is if there's a competency or an area where you feel you didn't progress as well, those resources are still all available to you, and maybe you can go back and take a look at them and kind of bone up on the area where you felt like you didn't quite get it. All right. Now, guys, his face is covering my arrows, so I can't arrow over. Now that I finished it and I hit the arrow, it says, congratulations. I'm done. I've completed this project. If I go back to my curriculum, now you see it's switched from 50% complete to 75% complete. Now it shows I have a check mark at all 3 of these. This is another place where people get stuck. They say, okay, there's 3 areas of this project. They all have checklists. Why does it only say I'm 75% complete? Because you need to do this completion down here. So activate your completion, launch it, and all you have to do, it tells you exactly what you do. It gives you instructions. It tells you to mark it complete. So now that I've read the instructions, it'll let me go back, and now this button, Mark Complete, is available. I hit Mark Complete. And this is another place people get stuck. I marked it complete, and it still says 75%. That is because if you look right here, status, pending completion approval. If you finish a level and you hit the Mark Complete button, it sends a request to your Vice President of Education, which in this case is me, to please approve your level. And what I do is I go back and I look at my spreadsheets or agendas or whatever I have to verify that you've done everything that you needed to do. And if you have, then I click that you are done and I approve it. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. Don't worry, I will go back and finish this for those people who are going, but wait, you just marked everything complete and you didn't actually do the project. So I am going to go back. Anytime you need to return back to your Toastmaster profile, there's this return to my Toastmaster profile right here on your Basecamp landing page. You can hit that. That's actually an enhancement. You used to have to close out of Pathways and go back into Toastmasters.org. You do not have to do that anymore. I'm going to log into Basecamp Manager just to show you guys what I see on my side when you finish something. So right here it says, Kristen Harrell completed level 1 of team collaboration. Do I want to approve it? I'm going to say yes, just so you guys can see. Usually I give you a little note. And then when I go back to my I'm navigating through Basecamp Manager. I'm going to go back to the start page. I'm going to get back to my path and show you guys how it's changed now. Now when I go into team collaboration, you will see that it's 100%. And it says the status is completed. At this point, if I want to, I can open my certificate, my completion certificate, and I can print that. I'm not going to do that right now. But that's basically how it works. And it works that way no matter what you're in. For instance, some people have done the icebreaker and they want to know what to do next. Go into your icebreaker project and make sure that you have marked everything and you've done your after assessment. Mine says, congratulations, I'm completed, so I know I'm complete. Make sure you've done all of those steps. And at that point, then you can go on to your next project. Now, I do want to give you a little information on this. A lot of us work in a job where we have the opportunity to speak when it's not Toastmaster related. And the interesting thing about that is there's always a way for you to make it into a Toastmaster project. If you have to, say you have to speak at a conference or you have to run a meeting for somebody, there is probably something in your path that relates to that. You do not have to do your levels in order. It is designed to build competencies and to work in order. However, you are not forced to work it in order. So say you're going to give a presentation at work. There's a lot of presentations that are in level 3 or level 4. I'm still only on level 2 here, but I'm going to give a presentation. So I want to go to level 3 and look at the level 3 electives, because it says that I need to complete 2 of these, but it doesn't tell me which one. So there's a whole bunch of choices here, one of which is creating effective visual aids. If I have to give a presentation at work and it's going to involve me having to do a PowerPoint, use some visual aids, I can find a way to make it apply to this project. Always have somebody from your Toastmasters world, if you can, there to evaluate you and to verify that you did it. But if that's not possible, just talk to me. As your Vice President of Education, I'll work with you to verify that you did the project, and we'll work together to make sure that you can get credit for that. All right, I have a red card, so I just want to show you one more important thing. How does this matter to your Toastmaster journey with you and the club? Well, it matters because there's a reason you got into Toastmasters. It was either to work on your speaking skills or your leadership skills, or both. Pathways is the tool. It's just a tool of how you do that. And there's a bunch of great information that you can use that's in there. And you will always find something that can help you in your real life. But how it matters to the club, your projects, everything that you finish helps our club. This is our dashboard I'm going to show you right now. Henderson Toasters has been President's Distinguished every year since it was chartered, every full year since it was chartered. How we do that is by achieving 9 goals every single year. 6 of those goals have to be based on educationals. So every time we earn an educational award, you'll see right here, right now we only have 1. We need 4 people to finish a level 1 in order to get a point. We need 2 people to finish a level 2 in order to get a point. 2 more level 2s for a point. 2 level 3s for a point. We've got this one, and 1 level 4 or 5 to get a point. We need to achieve all of those points in order to be President's Distinguished again. And that's where you guys come in. Every time you finish something, then we get to count that toward our Distinguished Club program. And you guys help us to become a Distinguished Club again. So that's how Pathways helps the club. By you doing your educationals, learning what you need to know, and then applying them to our club, then you help our club reach its goals. I am going to start opening up for questions now. Do I have a question? Yes, ma'am.
Hi. Does every level have an icebreaker? Because I was in Toastmasters a while ago. I thought the icebreaker was just your very first speech.
Yes. So the way that they have done it in Pathways is every level, level 1, no matter what you're in, starts with an icebreaker.
Oh, okay.
So you get the opportunity to do multiple icebreakers, which some of us who've done a lot of them, we start to laugh because we're like, oh my gosh, how many? You'll see. So there was an icebreaker in engaging humor. If I open up, in team collaboration, if I open up engaging humor level 1, you'll see there's also an icebreaker.
Okay, gotcha.
So yes, technically the icebreaker is your very first speech, but in Pathways, you get the opportunity to do it again. And I think the fun part about that is you get the opportunity to maybe introduce different parts of your life that you weren't able to in 4 to 6 minutes the first time you did it, or you get to introduce yourself to club members who weren't here to hear your first icebreaker. So it kind of becomes a fun thing and sort of an inside joke for those of us that are in a lot of different clubs, like how many icebreakers are you going to do? But yes, every path has one icebreaker, but not every level in the path, just the first level.
Okay, gotcha.
And I believe the first level of every path is the same too. It's the icebreaker, then evaluation and feedback, and then research and.
Yes. It is. It's the same goals, and obviously, because evaluation and feedback, you can pick your speech on any topic. You can continue to refine a speech that you've been working on. Researching and presenting, obviously you have to research something different than what you researched in your previous speech, but that's always fun. It gives you an opportunity to do something new and find out something new. So yes, but they are the same. Are there any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes, Gerald.
So to complete a level, let me get this right. You must assess your skills before and after.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Is that the only thing you need to do, or is there anything else?
To complete the project, all you have to do is do the before and after. And then obviously, the Vice President of Education keeps track of whether or not you did the speech that goes with it. To complete the level, you have to do that mark complete. You have to get all the check marks on all the projects and then do the mark complete, and that completes the level. But for each project within the level, you have to do the before and after to complete that project and move on.
All right, thanks.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned that we can skip a level, and then if we've had done something presented with some visual aids, and I can just come and talk to you about it, can we go back from like a previous year, or does it have to be something recent?
No, it really needs to be something that it has to be since you've signed up for that path, and it really needs to have a conversation with us beforehand, especially if it's not, like if you're in an organization that there's other Toastmasters in and somebody was there and they evaluated you, and that's, and you come back to me and say, I haven't applied this to anything yet, but I have this evaluation, that would be one thing. But if it's just something you did and there's, you weren't, because the idea is not just for you to do it and apply it to something, it's to have Pathways help guide you through it. So if you said, okay, for instance, I did a 45-minute presentation for the APWA 2 years ago. So I went and found a project that I thought would fit with that. And then I let the resources of the project help guide me in putting together that presentation. So it's not just about checking off the box. It's about using the Pathways resources to help you with that presentation. That being said, I would prefer that you get credit for a presentation that you're going to do, but I would prefer that you use Pathways to help you do it. So let's have that conversation and we'll figure out how to make that work.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. The other thing that you need to know, if you do skip levels, you can do that in Pathways. Like I can finish level 3 and I haven't even started level 2. The problem is, as far as giving the club credit for it, the club credit has to go in order. So even if you finish level 3, you won't be able to give that point to the club until you go back and finish level 2. And then you could give us 2 and 3 and we get 2 points. So just understand that you can complete them out of order in Pathways. You cannot give credit out of order to the club in the Distinguished Club program. So make sure that if you do skip, that you go back and fill in within the same Toastmaster year so that you don't lose the opportunity to apply those credits. Do I have any more questions?
Kristen,
Yes.
I've got a question. So is there a way to go in and look at the different projects before you decide which ones you want to sign up for?
Yes. It's funny because some of us who have done lots of projects and have multiple DTMs purposely avoid paths that have a required high performance leadership project because we've done so many of them. So on my first path, I didn't think about that and I ended up doing a second high performance leadership project. But on my second, third, and fourth path, I made sure that that wasn't an aspect. So I actually have the document in a PDF form that I can provide you. I'm not 100% certain where to find it on Toastmasters.org, but we will go. Across the top here, you have different sections you can go to in Toastmasters.org. One of them is Pathways, and there, again, you can get to Basecamp through here. You can find out about different updates. If you want to get a new path, you can do it through here. There's a lot of different things you can do here. Sure, somewhere in here is probably a document that has all of that. Paths and projects here. Okay, so if you click on paths and projects within there, it has all the different paths, which you should be able to click on and get. Okay, so here you can see all the different projects that are available within those paths. If you want to know what the electives are in there, you can click on electives and do it that way. For instance, this one doesn't seem to have a required high performance leadership project. Otherwise, it would be listed right here under level 5. It has an elective high performance leadership project. So that's one that I've already done that one. So yes, that is where you can go to find out more information. So again, from Toastmasters.org, it's Pathways, Learn More, and then Paths and Projects.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? All right, I am going to stop screen sharing then and stop my recording. I will turn it back over to you, Mr. Toastmaster. Thank you.